Cool, I'm really happy that you stayed for my second presentation, which is not so much code related, it's more how we work as a company behind the scenes, and what's our workflow for releasing new products targeted at programmers, at developers, because that's something that we do. So I would like to tell you like how to earn $100,000 or more or a bit less, I don't know exactly. We stopped counting the exact number with your blog, or at least starting with your blog. That's the beginning of our journey. That's the beginning of what we did, and probably the most important part in it. Okay, so like I said, Robert Pankowecki, Arkansas, probably one of the most happiest moments in my life, vacations. And so this used to be true a few weeks ago. I was working Monday to Thursday doing consulting for our clients, for Arkansas clients, working on Ruby on Rails and React.js and doing a bit of DevOps. And I had Fridays for Arkansas where I was doing blogging and mailings and writing books and doing covers, like wannabe designer. Doing landing pages for the products that we have, again, wannabe designer. And I was like writer, publisher, salesman, producer, I was trying to play every role that you need to play in the sales process, to learn how to do it, to try to excel it, to have a break from programming, to do something else. But now the thing is, I'm doing it Monday to Friday since this week. It remains to be seen how it's gonna end. Like, we would eventually want to have our software as a service application for developers as Arkansas. Right now I'm looking into Chillout.io, our approach for that we had 4 years ago, and I'm trying to think, okay, how we can do it better than 4 years ago. We have more sales knowledge, we are better as developers, so maybe we will have more success. And on Sundays, I help my wife sell these beautiful pillows, so if you would like to get one, like, you can contact me for that as well. And it's interesting thing that my wife has a really, really small business. It's like, sometimes it's 2 sales a day, sometimes it's 2 sales a week. It's not something really big, but even in her small business, selling handmade pillows, I realized 2 things. That in 21st century, every business is IT business. So you are a very small business, you think like, I don't need internet, or I need to be guru, and then it turns out that, yeah, you do. Like, even very smallest businesses in these days, they need to have a Facebook account, Facebook strategy, they need to know how to run Facebook ads. You need to have a shop. You can either buy one of the existing shops, engine shops, or you can use Etsy or something, but you need to be fluent with it to sell anything. You need to know how to set up analytics, how to use MailChimp and so on, how to connect all those pieces together. So it seems like a very small idea, like a dream that she had. Let's just sell some pillows, and then you realize, well, I have all this complexity. And on the other hand, every business also right now needs to be a publishing business, I believe, or needs to be in publishing, needs to be in writing. Because right now this is basically the only way to attract customers. So if you want to reach developers, the best way to do it is to write book or appear on conferences, have some materials to present them. If you want to have customers buying your pillows, you need to either write interesting stuff on Facebook or write a blog. It's just, every business needs to appear somewhere. People need to learn about it, maybe on Instagram, maybe in other social medias. But most likely it all starts with just writing material, writing interesting stuff for your audience, even the smallest businesses. So when did I have the idea for this talk? How did it happen that I was thinking, okay, maybe we should share our stories and inspire other developers, other companies to try to follow the same way. and maybe have similar results to us. So on April 12th, I think 2 or 3 years ago, we launched Rails meets React book. And in 3 days, we sold 200 copies and earned $5,000 in those 3 days. And like, this is the lifetime value from the 6th book that was probably true a year ago or so. If you add like our other platforms, other deals, sales of workshop, I think right now we are closer to 100 or maybe $120,000. So this is what we earned not doing consulting, but rather creating products for developers. Starting with books, then trying to do videos, now doing also workshops, and then eventually I hope we will expand into applications for developers so that we can help them that way. And I would like to teach you how we achieved that, what was our road, and I wanted to teach you a framework for doing that. But like with programming frameworks, it's just a framework. So like it's not the only way of doing things. Like we have many programming languages, we have many programming frameworks, approaching things from different directions, having certain methodologies. And this is a sales framework. This is a framework like follow steps this way so you have higher chances of achieving success. And here's an interesting fact, like Andrzej said. Every 5 years, the number of developers double. And you can have 2 ways of thinking about it. One is juniors. Juniors everywhere. Like wherever you look, there are like so many juniors coming into the community. And you can be like condemning, thinking, oh, they don't know anything, they're everywhere, they're spoiling the market, they want too much, and run away. Like juniors, you can think that juniors are the problem of programming community. There are too many new people. That's one way of thinking about this situation, that one way of interpreting it. And you can think about it this way, like here we are, all of us, like most of us developers. So in 5 years, the number of developers will be all of us here, and the second group as big as us. And after 5 years, like no matter what's your level right now, no matter like, even if you're a total beginner right now, in 5 years you will have at least 5 years of experience, right? So yeah, and the rest of the people in this room would have 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And you can think of them like juniors, fuck. But you can think of them as an opportunity. Like there are so many people in the upcoming years that would like to learn programming, learn the techniques, learn how to be a better programmer. Because like, I see you here, we are sitting here on Friday, spending time with me. I'm probably super boring. But that says one thing about you. You're passionate. And those other people, some of them will be as passionate as you. Like statistically, as many as you, the second group will be in 5 years. So we can think, okay, there are these passionate junior developers who would like to reach my level, who would like to be better. So, and what can you do with that? So you can hire them. You can build your entire company around juniors. So you can hire juniors, you can help them become better developers, you can teach them, you can make them better, you can give them over the time better salary, you can make them seniors, and that's one way. You can keep hiring them, build bigger companies, have more projects, and grow up as a company that way. But that's something that we are not fond of in Arkansas. We are like 15, 20 people company, and we try to, on purpose, remain small. We try to not hire too many developers, not hire too many juniors. And so, but we have this knowledge that we would like to share. We have these instruments, techniques, approaches. So the other thing that you can do is you can teach them. Like, we've all been through some schools, we know how it's working. So instead of hiring those people, you can let them be hired somewhere else. No, there will be always a lot of companies, what you can do is teach them. Okay, because consulting doesn't scale in a way that if you get hourly rates, there is limited amount of hours that you can work every day. So perhaps you would like to have a different source of revenue that will be scaled independently of amount of hours that you spend working. So that's my dream. It does not mean like complete passive income when I'm just, lying on beach and having mojitos and earning money, looking at my bank account. I mean, like, this vision does not happen too often, and it does not happen too quickly. It's still a lot of work. It's still something that you do, but there is this moment, it comes this moment when you're actually not working and your products are still being sold. So I still work 7 or 8 hours every working day, but it happens sometimes that I have sales when I'm not working, and that's a good feeling. You're like looking there at the stats later and like, oh, I wasn't doing anything and it sold. That's nice. But you had to be doing something during those 8 hours anyway. So the question is how? How do we do it? How do we make products? How do we sell to developers or basically to any kind of audience? So obviously we gotta start with a good idea, right? We need to have an idea for our business, for our product. We need to know what we want to do, and then we can go into implementing it, right? Like, that's how every business starts. Or not. Maybe it does not. Maybe you should forget about ideas at the very beginning and do it completely different. Start with audience. Like, start with thinking, who do I like in this world? Who would I like to serve? Who could benefit from my skills? Who would I like to help with? Because if you choose a group of people to help them, if you choose to sell products to them, you're gonna have a lot of interactions with them. You're gonna be writing emails with them, exchanging, sometimes there will be some collaboration, you gotta convince them, you gotta understand them. Like, I wouldn't be here talking to you if I don't like developers. Like, why would I come here if I don't have fun interacting with you? But I like other developers. I like the way they think. I like how they imagine work. I like working with like Andrzejs of this world. Like people who have like maybe sometimes wrong prediction, but at least they're like into something. They have these passions like you do. That's why you came here listening to Ruby or serverless or DDD or Meetup. So start thinking like, who can I create the products for? And here's how it works. Here's like the sweet spot of the group that you should choose to work for, to make products for. So choose groups that you belong to. So for example, I'm a developer, I would like to be sometimes designer, I'm a vegetarian, they always tell you, right? Also, work for a group that is accessible for you somehow. So, like, make sure that the audience that you choose to focus on, that you can reach them somehow. So I know developers forum, I know about Stack Overflow, I know about Twitter, I know about Reddit, I know about other places. So I can find places in the internet where developers meet, where they have discussions, where I can find them and figure out something about them, listen to their problems. I know about their meetings, so these people gather somewhere. There are groups that you can belong to, but it might be very hard for you to find that group in the internet, how to reach them. And also, choose audience, choose group that pays for thing. So in Poland, this is a very common joke that students don't have too much money, so like it's very hard to sell something to them. They don't have the budget. Developers are great because developers earn higher rates, and so developers are this kind of people who does like, if you save them time, they will give you the money. Like they see the value, they understand that they buy comfort or something nice with the money because they have a lot of them, they don't care that much. So the word kind of group that you can think, for example, that I could go for is, for example, people trying to learn Polish, or philosophy. Like, I don't know philosophers, I don't know where to find them, and philosophers, that not sound like a group of people that have a lot of money to pay for things. So, if you want to play the game of making business at the highest possible level, like choose something that's not here, like try to sell products for philosophers. And this is like playing hard in computer games, or like super hard. But don't know what it's like for you, but I'm a complete beginner in this marketing sales game. I'm basically a developer, so I don't have that kind of skills. I'm just learning. I'm playing at a very basic level. So the sales frameworks tells you choose the sweet spot. So I try to sell to Ruby developers because I'm one of them. I know where they meet. I know that they pay for things because I'm trying to play the sales level at level easy. Like, I'm trying to do it as easy as possible because it's still hard. Because even if you play the game at the lowest level and try to be a salesman, marketer, content producer, and like developer in all that time, it's still hard. Because everything in life interferes. Like, everyone else wants parts of your time. Like, Netflix has these great TV shows, and your spouse would like to be loved, and children would like to have your attention. So in the end, your side business, you might not have as much time for it and as much power that you would like to have. So that's why you are playing at the easiest level possible. Yeah, so use every possible advantage you have. We do it so that we are on a better position. If I were to do something else, then if I, for example, were to make software for lawyers or real estate sellers, and I have no idea about them, even if they have money, I'm at worse position. I don't know where they meet. I don't know their language. I don't know what I can offer them. So that's the strategy. And at the beginning, we didn't really think about it intentionally or didn't pick anything. We just started writing and blogging and mailing. So in 2012, we started our first mailing list and we started blogging, and it was kind of for fun. Like, I wanted to write to people, I wanted to have this mailing list. I don't know, it looked appealing to me. Right now we have 4,000 developers, Ruby developers on one of our lists, and like 3,000 or 4,000 on React.js list. But we started just kind of for fun. In our earliest newsletter, we were just sharing links, like Ruby Weekly does now, and there were like Arkansas employees' comments, like this is good, or I don't like the approach from this blog post. And people subscribe to our newsletter to read about our opinions on links. And now we do Rails or React. And recently, even though we had a lot of success with React community, we decided, okay, let's focus even more. Like, let's drop React and let's focus more specifically on Rails, because that's what we like, that's what we enjoy most, and that's what we understand best. So there are 3 markets that you can try to target. So the first thing is people who would want to hire, including those who want but can't. So you're doing something right now as a developer, working for some company, doing some stuff, and other people would like to hire you so that you leave your company and go somewhere else. These kind of people is your first market. So you're building something and people are paying you, and that means you have skills, you're capable of doing something. You can try to do the same thing, you can try to build with the same skills something, but for more people. Like, not just doing it for your company or your current project, current employee, current customer. You can do something for everyone who needs your skills. So that's one group. And the second group is like people who are like you and do what you do. So you are a developer, you are a programmer, I'm as well, And the second group of people is people who are on similar level as you, for example, like other developers, your colleagues, people who attend here, people who attend similar conferences, people like you. Like people are curious about your way of doing code. Like they ask me how I'm doing, how I'm writing this code, can I see the code of Saga? Of course you can, $5. So like they're on the same level, and they understand that if you do something differently, it does not mean even better. They sometimes are just curious how you are doing it. So they can buy your book, read about your style of working, your architecture, how you use Ruby code, how you use DDD, and they can decide, okay, I enjoyed reading about it, but I'm not gonna use it. Or they can decide, okay, that was awesome, I'm gonna implement it in my project as well. Because every company, every developer has its own unique way of doing things. And the third group are what I call those juniors. So people who want to be like you and do what you do. These are the people aspiring to your level. So you are like on level here right now, maybe you are senior, maybe you are junior, it doesn't matter. There are people who know less than you. There are people, they are probably younger, they know less than you, and they would like to reach your status, reach your level. So someone can come and think like, I want to be like Andrzej, I want to talk on conferences, I want to have my own YouTube channel. Andrzej, like teach me how to reach your level as a developer, or how to reach your level as chess player. So people who aspire to do what you already achieved. And it doesn't need to be like super high level. Like there are people who would like to just start being developers, whose dream is to become junior programmers. And for example, we are trying to appear for that people as well with our junior developer program. So there are people who are working in different industries, for example, being testers, or they have some kind of other job, and they say, you know, I would really like to become developer, even a junior. That would be my first dream. Then I can keep improving. So, and you can write to them and teach them how to do things that you already know, either from university or learning on your own. Okie dokie. The second step is doing research. Seriously. Like, we did research for one on the book, and it sold best. So, how does this research look like? How do we start? So, we go to places called watering holes and look for pains. So we go to places like Meetups, or we go to Reddit, or we read comments in some blog posts, we read Twitter, and we check out like what's going on, what do people write about, what are they interested in, and what do they hate, what's painful for them, what are they experiences negative opinions on, negative feelings. So like years ago, you could, for example, go to a forum, Ruby forum, and you could read like, I hate working with images, I hate resizing them, or whatever. Andrzej said to you, for example, he does not like infrastructure, he does not like being a DevOps, he does not like caring about low-level stuff, and that's a pain. And if someone has a pain, someone who especially has money, they will be willing to reduce it. Like Andrzej is happy paying for Heroku because like, okay, then everything is easier for me. I don't need to care about a lot of details. Let's pay them money. So listen to what people say, people who have financial interest in something, and what are they complaining about it. Like focus like, you know, you can read on Reddit, how do you do service objects? Like I do it that way, how do you do it? What's the problem? Or you can read like, I have this complex application, or I have this active record callbacks, and there are so many of them that I don't know what's going in my system. And you read that and you think, okay, that's something I can write about. That's something I can create product for. So this process is called Space Safari, and you can read on Emi Hoyu's blog. I will later provide a link with all the people who inspire us in our framework. Emi Hoy is one of them, and this is where most of our inspiration comes from. And you can go to her program that teaches like how to do that kind of things. So we listen for what the people believe, the opinions, complaint, questions, what do they have problem with? And she says, do it for 30 hours. Like really go on a forum and keep reading what people are complaining about. So I was, for example, looking on diet forum. I was trying to look for some people who have allergies like me, but I couldn't find any forum like that, like people who have specific allergies. So that's one thing that even the fact that I couldn't find the right forum for that told me that if I wrote a book for them, if I wrote a book like how should you eat to avoid that kind of things, it would be hard for me to tell people about it because I don't know where they meet. Because like I couldn't find a place like that where I could post a link saying, you know, I have this kind of problem as well, I solved it, here's my book, how to do it. I can't do it because I don't know where those kind of people meet. So I went looking for a normal diet forum instead, and I was trying to write the keywords that are in Polish. So for example, a lot of people trying to lose weight have problem with yo-yo effect, but most of those lines, I was counting what kind of problem they have, which words are occurring most often. It means sweets. Like people who try to lose weight usually have problem with sweets. And what that means is that if I were to try create a product for people trying to lose weight, I would create a product titled like how to eat sweets and lose weight, or what kind of sweets can you use when you try to lose weight. And I know that it would be a success. Like this research tells me that all they want to hear is what sweet can they eat and still be okay. And you do that kind of research and like it's the clear winner. So you can watch on this link, Amy, and doing sales safari for scent candles. So these are candles which emit some kind of positive, like nice smell, and she has no idea about it, but she goes through a forum and she tries to figure out what kind of language those people that she knows nothing about use. Like what words do they use, what problems do they have? Yeah. So the third step is to build a landing page. And how do you build a landing page? You start with a pain. So I can say on the landing page at the beginning to you something like, imagine that you are coming home at 8 p.m. on Friday and you are exhausted, there is a whole lot of mess in your house, the kids are screaming, your spouse would like to have a nice time with you, but you don't have time, and like you would like to just chill out and relax, but everything is in such a mess. Either it's not your problem and you didn't give a fuck to what I was just telling because you don't have that kind of problem in your life, or that sounded familiar. And that brought your attention like, oh, I have this kind of problem. I have kids, I'm coming home and there is a mess. And then you tell them like a dream, what could happen instead? So you tell them, well, imagine that instead you could finish your work, you could go to the cinema with your spouse, you could have a wonderful evening, you could chill out, go home, have everything cleaned, and have children put to bed. And that sounds kind of good, like it makes you feel like, I would really like to want that. And then you say, and then your solution enters the scene, you tell the fix. So you tell that, buy our house help plus childkeeper package for $100 per hour. And you're like, I'm buying. Like, this is my problem. I want to have it solved in my life. Or you're like, meh, I don't have kids, I don't have spouse, I come back, the house is clean, I play World of Warcraft. Like, everything is okay, I don't have that kind of problem. And that's a good reaction because not only you want to attract the people that have that kind of problem that you have, but you also want to discourage people for whose you are not a solution. Your product won't work for them. Because if you do that, then you won't have the problem people coming in, buying your product and being unhappy with it, leaving negative opinions, wanting refunds, because they will be like, they will look what you are offering, whether they will think whether they are the person in the story, or they will say, no, that's not me, I don't want it. So you are attractive the right kind of people, but also putting away the people for whose your product is not a solving problem. So here is an example more like from our domain. The more time you need to understand your code and keep it well organized, the more expensive your product becomes. And it's hard to disagree with it. Like, yeah, that's pain of projects. With every feature you add, your code base is getting harder to manage. Like, that's what I told when I was telling you DDD. We have this increasing complexity every day. We try to look for solutions, how to solve this problem. We want to have as many techniques to keep our code better. Even hiring a new developers mean everyone needs to slow down to get him or her oriented with the code. That kind of obvious, that's what a lot of books are about. You add new person to the project, that does not mean the project will be going on faster, right? So you have this terrible pains, bigger and bigger. Wouldn't it be so much better to open up a project and have it fit like a glove? So who wouldn't want that? Like, you open a project in your editor and everything is in the right place. Everything is like you want. You can make this happen, and Clean Ruby will teach you how. And either it hit you and you buy the book, or you are like, nah, not me, thanks. So you can see the whole landing page on cleanruby.com. Okay. So this is all nice, but there is more to it. Like, you need to give back something to the community. So you need to keep giving people value. So this is our blog post, and right now we have like 12,000 visits a month or something. So we are giving people value. So for example, this is one of my blog posts, most popular Ruby blog posts that I had. And it's like, if you Google this, it's on second place, and if you Google this, it's on first place. So we are reaching the Ruby developers with CEO here. But 2 days ago, Andrzej on the blogging workshop showed you like different techniques that you can use to keep reaching the audience. So when I wrote this blog post, I had like one specific person in mind that I was trying to help. I had one friend who, like, every 6 months was asking me something about preloading in Rails. And I was like tired. After the 5th time, I was like, man, I just want to write a blog post for you so you can always read it. And I had this idea that I'm going to help one person. And it happens to help 5,000 people a month since 3 years. Like, every month, 5,000 people read it, and they are happy about it. So we have the best results with capturing people's attention and getting them on our mailing list. We had with a mailing course. So sometimes we have this pop-up, or we have this box showing like sign up to our newsletter to get more news or something. And would work much better for us if we said, okay, you're gonna have on your email a 3-part course about something. So sign up and you will receive the 3 parts. And people signed up. That was one of the best things that we did. So here's an example of such post. We had a really good luck, for example, sometime like years ago with podcasts. Like, we didn't expect some hits, but we recorded and a lot of people joined because we use different medium. So for some people, like, they're reading blogs, but some people are on YouTube, some are on Snapchat, some like listening to podcasts. So if you are in more places, you can reach different kind of people at different time. It's like, for example, I listen to podcasts or audiobooks when I'm making dinner for myself. So it's a different moment in time when you can capture my attention. And the best and easy way is to organize a giveaway. So we spend thousands of dollars, like, in terms of developers' time and salary, writing blog posts, doing courses, and so on. And the quick and easy way is to organize a giveaway where people can win books or licenses, and you just need to buy the books or licenses for the winners, and you give them just, people need to subscribe to your mailing list so that they can win it. So the goal is to make people trust you and build expertise. You need to be seen as someone who knows what they are talking about, someone who really can help you, the developers in their products. And the best way is to build the audience or email, because with email you can have sometimes 40% open rate, sometimes it will be 20% open rate, but it's still a lot compared to, for example, Facebook or Twitter. It is said that on Twitter, 2% of your followers will see your tweet. That's like almost nothing. You have 4,000 people and like 80 only saw something. So it's easier to migrate between all those independent services. There are a lot of providers for mailing lists. You can easily jump from one to another if you don't like something. Just export emails, import in different place. With Facebook and Twitter, it's much harder. Okay, and then you initiate on your mailing list the launch sequence for your product, which you made some way on the go. Like, I'm not gonna touch on that. You just write a book, it's easy. How does that work? You need to create a desire for the product that you have. And so this is the sequence that we use for Rates Meets React.js. First mailing list, now I want to be a front-end developer. What was it about? That when I was younger, I always wanted to work with design. I always wanted to make pretty things on computer. I like that. But then, like, I saw the future in internet. I wanted to working with websites, but the state of JavaScript and CSS years ago made me scary. So I became backend developer because that sounded much saner at that time for me. But now that I discovered React.js, I'm very into frontend again. Like, I enjoy working with React.js so much, it's so much easier that I can now do it. Now I want to be again front-end developer. I recall my forgotten dream. Day 5, we are making desktop apps. That was like, if you know Arkansas, we are not making any desktop apps. So it was like a clickbait title for you to open the email and read about that new websites, new web applications have so much requirements and such higher standard by the customers. They want so much and such kind of functionality with dynamicness, with graphs, with videos, and with real time that used to be achievable only on desktop apps. So basically right now we are making desktop apps by writing web apps. And the next email was about a case when we used React.js to rewrite some part of our code faster and with less bugs. And then we had just like information about sales open and reminder that it finishes. So the nice thing with emails is that it's such a rich medium. Like, forget Twitter or Facebook. You can have memes, you can have like covers and points and bullets and like code there, personal stories. So this is like, I really like the way of expressing things in emails because there's so much that you can put there and it works. So the strategy is give big discount for your audience, for people on your email, especially if you start with beta version, because these are your best customers. These are the customers that you give them 60 or 50% discount because they are the best. And in other places, you give smaller discounts, and over the time, you keep going with price up. So the people who bought first, they have the cheapest price. And over time, things are only going up. So if you are later, if you are not our super customer who buys at the first day, the price will be higher. And then you sell. How does it look like? Like this. This is Sales Panda. You sit in your seat, and you keep receiving notification that someone bought, someone bought, someone bought, someone bought. And this is the best feeling, one of the best feelings that I've had in my life. You just sit down and you have your mind blown, like sold, sold, sold. And that's the way. It doesn't always work like that. We had books that we wrote that were not success, even though we tried to follow the process, but sometimes we followed it and it was spectacular, like $5,000 and 200 sales in 3 days. There's this sad thing that in Poland you need to be pretty strict with accounting, with doing things the way the government says. So we have Marta in our team who helps us, and she bought a nice bottle of wine and she was clicking to have the receipts so that everything would be tip-top. And that was a long day. And then you need to keep promoting. So that's the last phase. So here's an example. I was like, we wanted to have a Halloween promotion. I was like, I didn't feel like super well, super motivated. I didn't know what to write to our audience. So I rather linked to 2 things that inspired me by someone else, by Greg Young and maybe Michael Feathers, I don't remember. And I said, okay, so like the most scary thing that you can have on Halloween is your code. That was my message. And I was just like, you know, 25% discount, Halloween. It took me like 1 hour to write this email. And I think we sold for a few $100s. So my hourly rate for that hour was like a few $100s per hour. It's rarely like that, but when you sometimes have that kind of success, you are like, wow, I didn't even want to write that. I was just like accident. I just sent it and earned money. That's a nice feeling. So that kind of things, especially for Americans, like Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, New Year, are good like moments to remind your customers about the product, give them discount, update them, release new version. Think what Steam does with games. Like you have this winter promotion, sales promotion, like 20 promotions. They are like basically every time there's some promotion. And the retail now does the same. Every time you go to a mall, there are discounts, there are promotions, like you're promoting all the time. So negatives are, people will put your book on torrents, and frankly, I'm not offended by that, kind of like, okay, it's nice to reach that level when people pirate your things. I used to pirate things as well when I wasn't earning as a developer, so I'm not taking it as something offensive. I understand not everyone has money. But there are 2 kinds of people. There are some people that will steal, that will pirate, and there are people who will just write you an email and say, I'm working for India, this is my hourly rate, this is like, what's the currency in India? I don't remember. And they will tell you like, how does it convert to dollars and how much do they need to like work for it? And like, can you give me a discount? And I'm like, okay, like you just need to ask. And I'm okay, sure, thanks. Thanks that you are interested. And other people would just complain. They would write on Twitter, wow, how can they come like want so much for that? Like it's ridiculous. And I'll be like, yeah. And so sometimes people will be unhappy, will have refunds, but yeah, this thing will happen. They happen in every business. Like I was very much attached to it until I realized like how it happens in real life for my wife as well. Like she sells the most beautiful thing that I know. I really love the product that she sells. I wasn't sure what to expect from it. When she told me about the idea at first, when I saw it, I was like, okay, that really is pretty. And people still send it back. And I'm like devastated, like, seriously, it's that good and you send it back? And then you realize that always some people be unhappy. There is never going to be a business where 100 people are happy. It's the matter whether it's 2% or 5% or 20. But there will be refunds and you just need to live with it. So follow us on Snapchat if you want to see from behind how we are working. And I believe I already extended your, I forget the word. So let's end. Thanks.